Hi, my name is Sonia. I am making this video because this is what I have to offer to my community. I encourage you to do the same thing. Find your talents, figure out what you have to offer, and help uplift us black people. Brief introduction. I graduated from the University of the Cumberlands. I have a bachelor's of science in business. I focused on financial management. Pretty passionate about it, actually. I graduated May 2010. When I graduated, July 2010 was the first job out of college I had, and that was a part-time position making $9.50 an hour at Best Buy. I currently now am an owner-operator authority. I have my own trucking business, is basically what that translates to. I won't disclose my salary, but I will say that I worked very hard to get to where I am now. Okay, and enough of that. Now let's talk about budgeting.
This is the definition that I like most about the word budget. I've looked up this word just to really see how it's defined, and I found a lot of definitions. But a summary of intended expenditures along with proposals for how to meet them. That was the one that stood out the most to me, that I liked, because to me budgeting is a plan on how you're going to spend your money, how you're going to pay your bills, what you're going to do with the amount of income that you have coming in. I was actually talking to a friend a couple of weeks ago, and the topic of budgeting came up, and she asked, well, how do you budget if you live in check to check? That's pretty hard to do, don't you think? And it's ironic because my response to her was, the reason most people live check to check is because they don't budget. If you know how much money you have to spend, you'll know how much you can spend. But if you're just spending and you don't even have, like a big picture of, but this is what I make and this is what I owe, and but this is what I have left over to do other things, it kind of makes things hard. And a budget is important. I mean, pretty much every business that exists has a budget, and at least one. A lot of companies have multiple budgets. I mean, that's how they know what they can afford, what type of equipment they can buy, how many employees they can hire, how much they can pay their employees. Budgeting is one of the most important things when it comes to finances.
Bottom line is, it's a smart idea to have a budget.
I've heard people say a lot of things like they want to wait till they get on their feet to make a budget, or they don't make enough money to cover everything that they have, and, a lot of other things I've heard. But honestly, how do you even know how much you're short? Or what if you're not short? What if you just think you are, but you've been overspending in one area, and it's really not even a necessity. It's more of a just, hey, I'm just going to blow a couple dollars this week, and really you do make enough. Or, if you don't, well, how do you know how much more you need to make if you don't sit down and write down a plan? If you sit down and write down, well, this is what I make, this is what I spend, you'll know, well, hey, I'm short this month, I'm short this week. Maybe I can talk to my boss about getting some overtime, or maybe I just need to go pick up a second job because, I owe a lot, or, maybe you could sit back and say, these are the bills that I can delete. These are the expenses I can get rid of. These are not necessities. This is just something that I probably shouldn't even spend my money on. I'm almost wasting my money spending my money on this. We need to learn how to make our money be an asset to us and not a liability to us. There are some of us out here who make way more than enough, and we don't budget, so we don't see the real value of our money. We don't have as much of our money as we'd like to have. We're not able to do the things we want to do with our money just because we can't seem to get a grasp on it. There are some of us out here that don't make enough, and in either case, if you don't make enough, your budget will show you how much more you need to make or how much you need to cut out of your life. If you make more than enough, you'll see where you're actually spending money in areas where you could actually turn that money into maybe some savings, or you know, go on trips you want to go on, or do things that you always wanted to do. I've heard a lot of people say, if only I could just make more money, if only I could get a raise. That's actually not the most true statement that exists, because I found through research, through experience, through just watching people, helping people with budgets, the more you have, sometimes the more you spend. And saying don't go get more money. Of course I'm not saying don't try to better your income, make more money. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is don't think that the money that you make is your problem always. Yeah, sometimes people just really do need to make more money. It's expensive out here to live, and they don't make it easy. But don't think that making more money is going to be your only solution. Like, once you make more money, you actually have to discipline yourself. And see, discipline is a very, very, very big part of budgeting. Writing out a plan is one step. Following the plan is another step. And when you follow the plan, you have to be disciplined enough for you. Perfect example, Allen Iverson. I've seen this all over Facebook. Allen Iverson has, $150 million after popping bottles, buying cars, houses, whatever else. He's broke. So you can have millions and millions of dollars, but if you don't discipline yourself to follow a plan on your spending, none of that even matters. Another example is this lady. She made $400,000 a year, and I can't remember her occupation. She might have been like a surgeon or something, but she was spending about $500,000 a year, and $400,000 a year. That's a lot of money. That's in a month she made some of our salaries, but because she wasn't keeping up with her spending, because she knew her checks were large, she was just cashing out, spending money, and it wasn't even on like clothes and shoes. She was, bought a new car, bought a new house, a really big house. She had a lot of expenses that came with the house, bills, property taxes. She taking vacations and just not really keeping track on what she was spending. And so after a few years, she was in so much debt and couldn't even understand why. She couldn't figure it out. But again, that's when budgeting comes into play. Like, yeah, if you make a budget and you want to spend 99.9% of your money and you don't want to save anything, which I don't recommend, that is not smart. But if that's what you want to do, at least you know not to overspend. At least you don't spend more than what you have. And budgeting will help you see that. Now, if you're the person where you're like, I just really want to have a savings, I really want to work towards something, well, budgeting will also help you see where you could cut out and what you can add so that you can get to your goals. Realistic to wake up tomorrow and all of a sudden be the perfect budgeter, the perfect person, disciplined to the T. Yeah, it don't work like that. It takes practice. Practice makes almost perfect, and we all heard that. We've heard practice makes perfect, but I don't think anybody's perfect. So practice makes almost perfect. And so practicing on writing out your monthly budget, practicing on writing out where you're going to spend it, and actually practicing on following spending it. It takes time. But the more you practice, the better you'll get at it, the easier it becomes, the more you'll see how it's benefiting your life, how it's helping your life. And, those are just things that you have to start. And if you don't ever want to start, if you don't ever take the time is always going to pass. So once you start, time goes by, the easier it becomes. If you keep putting it off, you keep waiting, procrastinating, well, that's just the longer it'll take you to actually get on board. I don't want to be that person that tells you what you spend money on is wasteful. Although, I've done that before. I think we're all guilty. We've all told people what we should and should not spend money on, but in real life, let's think about that. Like, we're all different. We're all individuals for a reason. We all have different passions, different exciting things that excite us in life, different things we want out of life, different adventures. So all of us aren't going to want to spend our money on the same thing. So I think instead of badgering a person and saying, oh, you just wasting your money. Really, just say, okay, look, it's okay to buy the things you like, but let's see how much room we have to buy the things we like. For instance, if you drive your favorite car and every time you get paid, you like, you know what, I work hard, I want to treat myself. Well, you treated yourself when you bought that car. So a part of your paycheck is already accounted for. You purchased a vehicle, so you might want to just go, fill the tank and whip it around and enjoy yourself and treat yourself like that. I mean, if you got it like that and you can treat yourself to Beyonce tickets or J. Cole tickets, whatever, whoever you like to see, whatever you like to do, and still be able to live comfortable, that's cool. But, I mean, budgeting is about knowing where to put money, where to put it, what to put where, taking your total and divide it properly. Myself, my family, my spouse and I, we like to travel. That is what we like to spend our money on. We spend quite a bit of money on traveling. I've been to 47 states, Hawaii, Puerto Rico. Hawaii is a state. I do know that. But, you got to take a flight there. So I don't want you guys thinking I'm cheating because I'm a truck driver, because a lot of the trips I've taken have been on flights, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, just a lot of places. I can name a lot of places that we've been to, Europe, and we like to do those things. But you know what? We're not rich. We're not rich. We're not balling out of control. We definitely aren't millionaires. We don't have that kind of money. So we have to take a look at our income and our budget, our expenses and bills, and say, okay, well, where can we cut back? Myself personally, I don't do a lot of shopping. I don't spend a lot of money on clothes and shoes. I do buy clothes and shoes. Generally, I like to buy myself an outfit or two for my birthday in November, buy myself an outfit or two, in the summertime maybe. But, I just don't spend a lot on that. And even when I do spend the money on it, I'm really, really frugal with it. I'm real cheap with it. I don't believe in, spending a lot of money on it. Well, if it's a pair of shoes that I really like, that I think is going to look really good with an outfit, I'll spend $50. But generally, $20, $30 for my shoes. Clean them off, wear them, keep wearing them. And, if you know me, you've seen me, I don't think I look like a bum. I think I look nice unless I'm on my truck. I look like a bum when I'm at work. I sure do. But, I mean, that's grind time. That's when I ain't out here to impress nobody when I'm out here getting this money. But, when I'm out and we doing our little date night thing, I like to look, decent and nice. But I believe in looking decent and nice for a little bit of money. Another thing, we don't spend a lot of money on food. Well, I shouldn't say food because, we're vegetarians, so we do buy, groceries, a lot of vegetables. But we don't go out to eat a lot is what I mean to say. We don't spend a lot of money on restaurants. We do go out. I'm not going to say we never go out. That would be a lie if I said we never go out. But we might go out once a week. Sometimes we don't go out and eat at all. We cook at home. We take lunch, leftovers for lunch. I have a refrigerator on my truck. I put a lot of food in there. That's how I eat. I go home frequently, so I just re-up, stack the fridge back up, because I want to have money to go to, wherever we going, whatever trip we taking, whatever flight we about to buy, whatever hotel or Airbnb we about to book. I want to be able to do that. We do look for flights and hotels and what is it called, Airbnb. We travel on the budget too, because just because you got it don't mean you need to spend it. So if I can get it cheaper, I'm gonna get it cheaper. So in order to be able to take those flights and have some spending money for vacation, we cut back on some things in our personal everyday lives. Because that's what's more important to me than some of the other things, out here that I could spend money on. As far as my personal budget, it's July 2016. This is when I'm making this video. Our personal budget that I diligently do myself because I'm addicted to budgeting. It is planned all the way out to December 31st of 2016. I try to keep it at least 3 months in advance, but for the most part, I like to go out to 6 months. Generally, we know how much money we make, you know, we know what days we get paid. I pay myself, you know, so I know what days I'm going to pay myself, and I pay myself the same thing every time. So I know what our income is. And so I'm able to project a budget for the future for the next 6 months so that I can see, you know, where's the money going and how much money do we have to spend in August and September, you know, and if something ever happened, you know, something changed, a job changed, something happened, we know where to cut back at. We can go right to the budget and say, okay, well, if this is what change is taking place, if this is what change we need to make in this budget. Because, you know, for the most part, people know how much their house, you know, bills are and cell phone bills, you know, if you got a car, insurance. You know, you might not know how much gas you're going to spend every week, but you have an idea. You go to work, you go to the same places a lot. So you kind of have an idea on what you spend, you know. So I just project the budget, and then I leave room for miscellaneous spending that might need to happen. My dog might get sick. We might have to take him to the vet, you know. Somebody might come out of nowhere, you know, baby shower. Got to buy a baby shower gift, you know. So my budget is all the way to December 31st of 2016, and I think that's important to be able to map out and be able to plan ahead like that.
So to sum it all up, creating a budget is important. You should do it so you can get a handle on your finances and kind of know where they stand. It's hot. On my next video, I will show you how to create a budget. Simple way to create a budget. And don't forget, if you have a topic that you're good at, just something that you can teach or give back to our community, I challenge you to go ahead, make a video, write a post, something. It's obviously clear that we all we got.